Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Controller Freaks, my weekly gaming podcast. In this week's episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Formula One game, as it is coming up on time where we're probably going to start hearing some news about the upcoming F1 26 game. It's a little weird to define it because it's not exactly an all new game. At least from my understanding, it's going to be more along the lines of a DLC slash update to the F1 25 game that came out last year. But regardless of whatever physical form the game is released in, that's not as important as what the topic of this video is, which is my wish list for the game. I'm going to kind of break it down into a few key areas. And starting off, I would like to discuss career mode and some things that I would like to see them do. Obviously, I understand that certain things that I may mention in this video have varying degrees of actual realism and possibility of them actually being added. So take this more as a this is what I would do if I was in charge of making the Formula 1 video game and things that I would add. And you can also follow along and let me know in the comments for each of the points that I mentioned here whether you agree or disagree, and we can have some good discussion. That would be awesome. First off, I would like to see more than a two-player career mode. I don't know how much you guys watch um, other like Formula One video game content on YouTube, but there's a series called Creator Series where it's a bunch of these YouTubers and streamers that come and have their own like championship, much like the real life Formula One championship, only shorter, of course, and it's on the game. Anyway, they just do it in like regular online private lobbies that they make. But it would be really cool if you could have something like that with up to 20, now 22 people, with, Cadillac, the 11th team on the grid. Um, Instead of just being confined to, you and one other person, if you could invite many other people, much like a franchise in Madden or like on the NBA 2K games, stuff like that. And with EA, that they already like we've seen them do it with things like Madden with the college football game and whatnot. So I think that would be great to be able to fill up more than just you and one other person with other people online and actually have a full season. You know, Next up, I wish there were greater, like, kind of administrative settings to customize things. Sure, a lot of people are going to want to just have the authentic experience where you go in and race with everybody in their normal teams and whatnot, but I want the ability to mix things up. Sure, you can go in and play as a real driver in driver career and like pick what team you want to drive for. You can drive as Max Verstappen in a Mercedes. You can take Charles Leclerc and put him in an Alpine, you know. But I want to be able to do that for every driver. I want to be able to completely turn the grid on its head if I want to. Just for my own personal like career mode save. I also want more than 3. I feel disincentivized to create a whole bunch of new ones and get invested in them because if I want to create a 4th one, I then have to go and delete one of my ones that I'm now passionate about and I care about. I want more space for them. In a similar vein, I want a couple changes to my team. I want to be able to create my own driver again, much like we could from F1 24 and before. With of course the My Team overhaul in F125, they took away the ability to create yourself as like the owner driver. You're just now the owner and you hire two drivers. No, screw that. I want to be able to drive as myself, and not only that, I want to be able to create custom drivers to like be my second driver. Heck, you can even keep the feature where you can pick who to drive as each weekend, but I like the ability to create my own custom driver, you know? So, there's a couple things there. Also, one thing that for driver and career mode, like my team mode, sorry, stepping over my words. For driver career and for my team mode, what I would like to be able to do, and you can even extend this to like online multiplayer career, like, two-player career, or if they were to implement my like broader up to 22 person career mode, I want custom point systems. I want I want you to be able to go in when you're like customizing the settings. I want you to be able to alter the point system. Furthermore, if you choose to leave the point system as is, I would like for the game itself, much like how they at the end of each season will come out with new regulations to either the aero or the engines or something to like kind of have to make you pay attention to that department and like reserve those parts and save them through the regulation change. I want them to make changes to the point system. Bring back the fastest lap point. Maybe, add points for 11th and 12th place. Alter the sprint race points. Give first place more points. Give second, whatever. Whatever the changes may be, I want the game kind of like how in NBA 2K My League, the franchise mode in that game series, they will propose rule changes over time that you as like the de facto commissioner of the league, as the owner of the franchise series, can approve or not. Whether it's removing the shot clock or making it longer or whatever way to alter the rules. I want more variety when it comes to that. And then getting away from the career mode for F1 World, the online play, I want more like kind of limited time events. They'll roll out these events where it's a certain challenge or whatever. Like the most recent one is you have to play as Lando Norris driving around Abu Dhabi and fend off Lewis Hamilton because it's like, oh, the last two most recent world champions for McLaren, whatever. That's cool. I like stuff like that. I like being thrown into these little scenarios. So I want more of those, and I want more compelling ones, if that makes sense. Another thing, classic cars. They haven't been around since F1 2020. We need them back. Okay, and if licensing is an issue, fine. You don't have to bring back the like cars themselves, like that specific McLaren or that specific Ferrari or Williams, whatever. Fine. I want to drive cars from different regulation cycles. I want to be able to drive, even if it's just a generic car, I want to be able to drive a car from like the 60s, for example, against other cars from the 60s. Not only that, okay, and I know this is like getting way off in the wild areas here where it's very much unfeasible that they would actually do it, but I want inter regulation cycle races. I want to be able to race in a 2026 car against a 2025 car, which is also against a 2022 car, against a 2018 car, or a 2010 car, and a 1982 car. Like I want these races so that we can kind of Have fun. I mean, it's all for fun. It's a video game. It's fun. Sure. Is it kind of stupid? Would the 2025 cars just run away from everyone and the 2020 cars? Sure. Maybe they would. But you know what? Maybe that's the point. Okay, sure. Would a new car absolutely smoke a car from the 50s? Yeah. But you know what? Can't we just have fun? Can't video games just be about having fun and enjoyment and, enjoying something just for the sake of finding it entertaining? So, the last thing I wanted to bring up was I like that they brought back Breaking Point, the kind of like story mode thing. I not saying that we need to continue the Breaking Point storyline. That's probably run its course now, but I like having a kind of curated story as well. So more of that, please. Come up with a new story, make it maybe a little more compelling. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And yeah, thank you for watching.